In this episode of Platinum Tech, we're talking integrated main cap braces. So we started off over 10 years ago making an overlay brace, which was more of a four-wheel drive adapter for the RB engine, because there wasn't anything really that had a brace incorporated in a four-wheel drive adapter with the pan rail bolt holes getting changed from two-wheel drive M6 to the M10s that you have with the four-wheel drive sump. So we made an overlay brace that sort of solved that problem. Then we decided to test it on an RB26, and it ended up stopping the crack happening over the oil gallery and stopped the main cap cradle walking around. So sort of different purpose. The RB30 didn't need it as much, but it needed it somewhat, and the 26 needed it. So that was that. Then we thought to ourselves, well, hang on, all these people are making billet main caps. Why don't we start making a billet main cap? I wanted to integrate the brace into the billet main cap and offer a two-in-one solution. That's how we ended up with our RB integrated main cap brace. So we really wanted to steer away from a hard billet main cap. Works really well for drag in a lot of applications with alley rods, but the shock's got to go somewhere, into something more tangible with a little bit more ductility that would dissipate energy out of the bottom end more so and push it up through the pan rails. So doing that with a billet, bit of steel, which is sort of where we started in the beginning. I thought the only way to do this is really with a nice ductile sort of cast, and we can bring the MPA to exactly what we want it to be and match it up with the block better. And then we've got no issues with dissimilar metals. We've got no thermal expansion issues. We can get it to be stable. So it was just the way to go. Casting the billet, so to speak, before we go and turn it into an integrated main cap brace just gave us a lot less machining time. Although obviously you've got casting mold expenses and bits and pieces, we start off with a fairly close to shape mold, a plug you'd call it, and then we can do all the final machining and end up with an integrated main cap brace that ticks all the boxes and works. So once we got the RB dialed, we decided to roll that technology out across some of the other engines that we were interested in making billet main caps for, or integrated main caps for, and we went ahead and did the Barra next. So the Barra, the sump moves 10 mil, but all the bolt holes and everything still work. Same bolt journal size, a lot less prep work, or basically no prep work for a Barra to put the integrated main cap brace on. A few different bits and pieces with alternators and stuff sitting in different spots, but that was a much easier transition. So from then, from the Barra, that we went over to the 4G63, which is Evo block. That's about to start getting machined now for a final sort of prototype and run. As far as RB braces are concerned, we had our overlay brace, which meant you not only had to sort of get your pan rail height right with the OEM main cap brace, machine that down, stick all the holes in it to, get the overlay brace to basically incorporate the main cap brace and make it a single fixture, dissipate your energy through your pan rail, stop the block twist and all that sort of stuff. Going to an integrated main cap brace, basically putting both in one with the same material and allowing the shock to go out through the main caps into the pan rails and tie it all off. You still need a fair bit of machining to get the brace to fit. You've got to get it to fit within your main cap registers, which is important. You're going to do any of that with an aftermarket billet main cap anyway. You need to cut your thrusts. You need to set it all up. It is a lot more stuffing around, but once it's done, it's done. So look, it doesn't really matter which way you go. If it's an overlay brace, there's a certain amount of machine work that's required. Integrated brace, all right, it's the ultimate amount of machine work required. But if you're going for a billet main cap, it's the same amount of machine work to set up those main caps. It's just that you don't tie it into the pan rail. You have a plate that loosely fits, so you can dowel it or try and get it to attach somehow, but it's never going to be as good as a one-piece assembly, and you have just as much work to do so, but it doesn't have all the benefits of a ductile sort of iron main cap. You've got the hard billet main cap, which detracts from energy dissipation, and it's going to bang that shock straight back up into the little end usually, or big end bearing, and you'll do damage there. A lot of people sort of chase issues somewhere else and not realise that it could be a result of the main cap not being able to dissipate that energy. So tying it all into one and getting the shock to move and the noise is moving and everything's working with a part that's made out of the same material as the block, it just ticks all the boxes. And it's not, actually, you can't really even twist the main cap brace. So having a thin plate over some billet main caps, you don't solve that problem of the main caps walking. So we felt that this was the only way forward for the big horsepower builds. When it comes to big power RBs, there's no real middle ground other than, you can argue that a billet block's the way to go. Is a billet block a streetable block? Yeah, sure. This is your middle ground for your 1,000 horsepower plus. We don't recommend really needing to go for this other than over 1,000 horsepower and the inner and the normal sort of overlay brace. That's great up until 1,000 horsepower, but there's a little middle ground there for the people that want 1,000 horsepower or want 800 plus with awesome reliability and the rigidity of a main cap brace, up into sort of 12, 13, 14, 1,500 horsepower street cars or race cars. That fills this niche. Anything over that, you go on billet block anyway. It's a drag car. It's a 5, 6, 7, 8 second car anyway. This sort of captures that whole middle market, people that are wondering whether they need to go for a billet main cap, not sure if it's the right solution. Well, here it is.